When I was a little child, the first fairy tale my parents read to me was The Little Mermaid. It's a story about how a mermaid abandons her home and risks her life against all odds to be with a prince. At first, I was fascinated and mesmerized by all the sacrifices she made for the sake of love. I thought that it was a true form of adoration and that I should take her as my role model. And then I grew up. The tale, which I thought was sad, widened my eyes and shed more light to how dark and disturbing fairy tales can be. Because the original storyline, written by Hans Christian Andersen, is inspired from his unrequited love with another man. I concluded that it was just marketing, how we give the happily ever after endings to fairy tales to make them more profitable. Hans is famous for writing fairy tales with a theme of broken hearts and unrequited desire. The story, which without any doubt has an incredible literary value, from the detailed description of the characters to the vivid image of the bottom of the sea, has also a dark side. It starts with the princess yearning to have the Prince Eric. She had her heart set on him and gambled her life just to be with him, which you would call an obsession. The first sacrifice she made was exchanging her voice against a pair of legs to look more human and therefore be able to approach the prince. It reminds me of how I wanted to become a photographer so bad. I always liked the moon and the sunset, capturing people's emotions and being able to touch their souls. Whenever I had the chance, whether I was traveling or going out, I would go around looking for something to picture. I was aware that I was fully obsessed with it, but I couldn't help it. I wanted to make a photography my dream job, and I tried to do everything it took for it to happen. I went against my parents, like the Little Mermaid who didn't listen to her dad. I spent my nights and days trying to understand the art of photography, to become more professional in taking pictures. I sacrificed my childhood years and all the memories I could have made just to make my one dream come true, and kept focusing on being the best, on being something that wouldn't guarantee my future, on sacrificing for a completely uncertain outcome. As the Little Mermaid, who even endured the feeling of sharp blades under her feet whenever she walked, I was willing to lose my tongue and feel the pain just to be with my prince, which is photography. Now that I grew up, I have come to realize that I won't always have what I want. Because if I were to give up everything just to become a photographer, I would have no roof over my head, no food on my table at night, and nowhere to sleep. I am not saying that I am giving up on my dream, but that I am playing it safe and making photography my hobby and not a full-time job. My dear teacher, Mr. Hossam Souhaili, always says that we shouldn't miss any opportunities while we're young, and truer words were never spoken. I may or may not become a photographer in the future, but I guess that it's okay. As long as I am not on the verge of dying, as long as I won't sacrifice everything for my one prince, I will gain a lot of experiences and become a better version of myself, maybe better than what I have expected or envisioned for in the future. At the end of the fairy tale, the Little Mermaid dies, but at least she gains a soul. The moral is that not everything goes how you want it to be. Things you never expected and that will be for the better will come your way. In short, we all have that one prince in our life, something we are certain we will achieve in the future. But don't change just for that one prince. Don't sacrifice everything for your only dream. Work for your dreams, but don't set one and only goal. They say life is full of opportunities, so why treat it like it's a room with four corners?